I've got some Randy order to open up, and then we're going to work on, well, I've opened it, but I'm going to let you guys see what it is. Then we're going to work on some key rings because I had a request for key rings, 50 of them. So, and I have to have them done by Wednesday night. So it's going to take me a while. I have about 20 done already, so not behind, but hey, Chris, how are you doing today? I know I heard you say that you were sort of beat out. Hi, Heather. So, um, hope you guys had a nice weekend. Um, Mine wasn't the best. My grandson's been sick for a while. We ended up having to take him in because he's been being so sick that he was really dehydrated and they had to put an IV in him. Took some tests, but we have no idea yet what's going on. They haven't got the results of the tests back. So hopefully we'll get those back and everything will be not too horrible. And they can, give him some medication. They have given him some medication for nausea, so that's better. You made a pair of earrings today, Chris? That's cool. Hey, Donna. So, we're going to look at my little order from Randy. Then I got some new beads from Temu, so we'll look at those as well. Then we're going to make key rings since I need so many of them. Oh, well, we're hoping he feels better soon too. But he did, after he got back from having the IV, and he said he felt a little better, and he did eat a banana and keep that down, and which is probably the first thing he's kept down in days. And so the anti-nausea medicine has helped to a degree, so that's good. Um, and of course, with the IV, he's not as dehydrated as he was. So, little bit of good here and there, but he's been in bed since he got home. He hasn't wanted to get up. So. Oh, you have a show coming up this weekend, Mary. Yeah, I don't have any shows until Black Friday weekend this year. I was supposed to have had one this last weekend, um, but the the company that was putting it on went out of business. So of course we all ate our entrance fees, which wasn't cheap because it was a 3-day show. But it's the way it goes some years. Hey Sid, how's it going? So yeah, 5 necklaces. That's cool. Anyway, I'm going to turn us down. We're going to look at my order from Randy, and then we're going to look at these new beads that I got from Temu. I think they called them Persian agate or something like that. They're pretty. Yeah, it doesn't have the name on them, of course. Anyway, so let's turn down. We'll look at my Randy order. Big fat envelope here because she put little notices in here to me too. So, um, so anyway, what I got that I ordered, let's put this to the side. Actually, it was in this box when I ordered the stuff I ordered because that's special from Randy. So, oh, this is not the right one. Well, it is sort of, but it's not the right one. She sent me all kinds of notes in here, so I have to figure out what all we have here. This was a good one that came on Saturday, so. Anyway, so from Randy, I had ordered 4 strands of beads. That's what's in here. I got the 12 millimeter Kambaba Jasper coins. I do have some other things that I really like that are Kambaba Jasper, so I've been trying to gather some things up so that I can put them together with, I have a big pendant stone um, and a few other beads. So there's my Kambaba Jasper coins. The next thing on this list is the fossilized coral oval bead strand. And look at this one, isn't this great? I just love the markings on this. And I think there was another one I really, oh, down here. This one has some really fun patterning on it. So I really love the patterning that shows up in fossilized coral. It's really pretty. Next is a strand of the Indokalite Preciosa beads. Sorry, brain froze there for a second. And lastly, I have a strand of the 10 millimeter of the orange garnet, which is also known as Hessonite garnet, in case you didn't know. Most people, I'm pretty sure, do know. So there's that. And the last thing in here is actually what was on this one, which I didn't pay for. This is the chakra pendant that she showed, and I said I wanted it. And I was going to go back and get my custom order for it, and Beth paid for it. And so Randy sent it on with a note telling me that Beth had paid for it. So this, isn't that pretty? It's going to make a really pretty necklace. So I really like that. So let's get our things put back in here. I have to make myself put these away into my gemstone boxes pretty soon so that I don't end up just leaving them in the box forever. That's what I've been doing again, and I keep telling myself to stop doing that, but, well, I haven't. So now my last box here is okay, that's my note saying that Beth paid for my custom order, which I seriously appreciate. Hey, Georgina. And this is a little PR package in here from Randy. And and she states that I just wanted to let you know I'm sending a little PR package your way from Thunderhorse Descendant. It's just a small thank you for all the love, kindness, and support you've shown me online. You've been such a bright light in our community, and I really appreciate you always cheering us on. And I can't wait to see for you to see what's inside. I hope it brings a smile to your day. Love from Randy. So I love the way she wrapped it up. It looks like a cute little package. Anyway, so we open this up, and she sent me a little pad of paper. Maple leaf, isn't that pretty? It's a cute little pad. I'm going to keep that here by my desk so I can write myself notes if I need to. I have my 2 pens, so, you know. And then I have 2 snowflakes here. Aren't they cute? They are either plastic or resin, but they're cute. I like them. And then I loved these. Look at these crystals. Aren't these gorgeous? Look at the pretty on those. And lastly, I got she sent me some mermaid beads. And they're rondelles, and it's a really long strand, as you can see. So I thought that was really sweet of her, and I appreciate it. So we're going to make something with that, maybe Thursday or Friday. Can't do it right now. I have to get these key rings made, but definitely we are going to make something with these. So that was a little something from Randy. And I always appreciate when folks send me little things. So there we go. Put the paperwork aside. And then it is a very pretty pink, Anita. I agree. And you got coin crystals. Yeah, they were, and they are so pretty. Oh, hi, Tina. Hey, Cynthia. So this is my well, I was going to say this is my little order from Temu, but the things I showed you the other day from Temu, this was the same order, but they came from different warehouses. So this little order is, these are all, I think they said they were Persian agate or something like that. I just know that they're pretty. They're like a brown agate. Well, these are more like gray agate down here, but that's right. So there's 2 packages of each style. These, they're English cut or star cut. Aren't those pretty? I'd say these are a brown agate, but it said Persian agate, and they're probably from the Persian region. So, though actually Persia doesn't exist anymore, but you know. So this is the 10 millimeter size. They were a good price at $4.79. These surprised me because these were less expensive. I doubt if these are a AA grade, but they're still pretty. Then the rounds were. So the rounds are more gray and blues, and these are more brown. So this was $2.74 for the 8 millimeter. And at a guess, I'd say these are dyed because there's lots of darker browns through and through here. So, so that's the brown. And then this is the more blue, and I got 8s and 10s in this as well. I think they're 10s. Maybe they were, yeah, they're 10s. This strand, the 8 millimeter, were $5.35. And in the picture, they were more grayish. The blue, where it looks really blue, was more grayish. But I think these are really pretty, so I'm certainly sure I can use them. And then we have the 10 for $6.59. And these are really pretty agate. I really like them. Now, I do believe they said these were A grade, these more expensive rounds. I think when I ordered them, they said they were A grade Persian agates. So, but they're very pretty. So that was my little Temu order. Well, the other half of my Temu order is probably more like what I should say. So, lots of pretties. So I thought they were really pretty. So now my order for my key rings actually came from my niece. She called me on Saturday and said, "Can you make 50 key rings for my dad's celebration of life ceremony? And can you get them done in time to send them with Steve when he comes on Thursday?" And I went like, "Ooh, well, I'll try." I do have 18 made. So I did get a good start on them. But what she requested was that we have a dark red bead at the top representing his birthstone, which is garnet, which of course I don't have that many garnet, though I do have some garnet. This one of these in here is I think it's this one. No, these are the Malaysian jade. I figured they're dark red enough, they'll work as garnet, even though they're not really garnet. Then we have, she wanted a white star or heart in the middle. I don't have any white hearts, but I do have some white stars. I'm hoping I'll have enough. And then I have some little star spacers that I'm going to use in part. Let me get one in a minute and I'll show you. And then for the bottom, we want blue. So I've been putting my navy goldstone in that quite a bit because I'm trying to sort of represent the night sky. And then he was really into nature. So we're putting all kinds of, she suggested a feather. I told her I didn't have enough feathers, but if you were going for nature, I have all kinds of critter charms. And she said, oh, that would be perfect. So the critter charm is that's the bottom that we're going to use. And then of course I have my other little jump rings here, which are where I put between the two. I hook. When I make these, this is of course the big key ring. Then I take a little split ring and hook my bead strand onto the little one and then onto the big one. I feel it's more secure that way, but yet I don't have to try and wrap onto the big one. So we'll get some wire cut and we're going to start on these. Oh, ouch. Anyway, so I have here in my pile of charms, I have a deer. I have some bear. I have actually more bear than anything else as far as my charms are concerned. We have a couple of wolves or coyotes, whichever you prefer. Here's another bear. I have some bighorn sheep. And these are two-sided, as you can see when I flip it over. I have a feather, which is what they originally were thinking would work good. I actually have another wolf. And then we have a couple of moose. So we're going to use these babies to make some key rings. I told myself I had to get 12 done per day if I was going to, for the 4 days, if I was going to get, and then two extras that I had made on Saturday. So we're going to get our 20 gauge wire out. Hey, Dorothy. And I suspect I'm going to end up using this whole spool before I'm done with all of these. But we're just going to cut a length off. I've just been cutting a length off. I haven't tried measuring it or anything like that. I'm not much for measuring my wire, to be truthful with you. Unless I'm making something that is really critical that I have proper lengths and things. So that one was a little shorter. It'll still work. Now these I'm not going to be really particular. If I get them more or less the same, that's fine, because she wants specific things for them, and they are going to be a like a gift at his at my late brother-in-law's celebration of life ceremony. So um, they're not. It's not critical that they're all different. Um, and with 50 of them, there's no way that I'm going to end the specific beads she wants. There's no way we're going to get them to be entirely different. Let's see. Well, we'll just start with I have now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these are all different lengths. Look, I got a short one in there. That one may be too short. But 8. And that one's longer than the rest. So, where'd my end go? There it is. Okay, I think I got 12 cut here. Now I'm just gonna start them out as a I suspect this whole roll of wire will be gone by the time I'm done with these, so I'm not really going to be too picky about how I get them back in the package. But we're going to just sort of do a this is the short one. To be careful with it. Whoa! Throw the wire around, Rose. That's good. Do any of you guys ever make key rings? They're actually pretty simple. Unless you want to get really elaborate with them. But when I get elaborate, it becomes a purse charm, not a key ring. Hi, Tina. We're making key rings. I have, my niece has requested that I make 50 key rings for her father's celebration of life. My brother-in-law that passed away in September. And it is, and Steve leaves to go. We actually scheduled his leaving before the government shutdown, so anyway, he's always been planning, but he leaves on Thursday, so I have to have these ready by Thursday for him to take with him for the ceremony. So these are a little gift for the people who come. to the ceremony. They are paying me, not as much as I normally would get paid, but at least enough to cover all my materials and stuff. So I figured Dale and Steve were really close, so I want to make sure that um, that this is as much for my husband as for the family, because like I say, he was very close with his brother-in-law. So, um, now I leave this, when I do this, I leave a gap so that I can put my charm on more easily. And I'm using the second loop rather than the first, because some of these charms, the loop is pretty good sized. And since I'm not sure, which one's going on which, since I'm doing these like in the line kind of way, so to speak, I whoop, lost one. Gonna have to get that one off the floor. Lost two, but I managed to catch one. One thing about being chubby, you catch stuff. But these are really simple, just 3 beads and spacers and a charm. And then they'll go on the smaller split ring to go onto the larger split ring. Now, do you have to use the smaller split ring? No, you could attach this. You could just make a bigger loop. And you'd probably want even a bigger loop than that to go, if you were going to put it on directly onto the key ring, because the bigger split ring, because, well, that's pretty good sized, as you can see. So you'd want a pretty good sized loop if you're going to put them directly on. I don't use a regular jump ring when I'm putting these onto the split rings, because even though most jump rings are pretty good hold and everything, a key ring tends to go in and out of pockets and in and out of a purse, and they're being handled a lot more than your regular jewelry is. I mean, you don't generally put your earrings in your purse or in your pocket, or your necklaces or bracelets, so they don't have that extra force on them, so to speak. Okay, I don't see where my wire went. Rude wire ran away. Well, if we don't find it, we'll just cut a new one. It's not like it's going to kill us to cut a new one. And so, you like using macrame on key rings? Oh, that's a cute idea, to take pictures of your of the kids and put them in the little plastic round things. Yeah, that's cute. You like to use chunky stones on your key rings. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just going to grab a charm and we're going to just slide it up onto here, and we're just going to go along and do that with all of these. Actually, this is this. No, it's fine. Doesn't matter because I only do 2 wraps generally down at the bottom. So just grab one. This one's a little clogged up. Where's my reamer? There we go. There we go. All fixed it. Yeah, exactly. Heather, your belly's a great thing for catching stuff. We'll put this deer on this long one because, well, it's got antlers, so it's sort of a pain in the rear. Come on, there you go. I think I'll put the wolf aside till I find my missing wire. And we'll put the feather one on here. Come on, feather. And now we got to wrap them up. Now I usually just do 2 wraps on the charms down at the bottom. You can do 4. You can do just a simple loop if you want to. But if you do a simple loop, you've got to remember you don't have that extra security of the wrap. And like I say, these are going to go in and out of people's pockets and such like that. So you're going to want to, actually I should just do this last, the cut and the tuck after everything else. So put that up there. That one's done. I'm just going to do simple wraps on these before and just put them down and go back to them. So with stuff in nature, if I hadn't had specific requests for the colors, a lot of times, like these with the bears and everything like this, the bottom bead would have been either brown or green, um, or even gray, sort of um, copying the nature they'd be in. So with the gray, it would be like on a mountain, and the green, like in a meadow, that kind of thing. And brown would be, of course, dirt. And then I'd put something in the middle. If I had brown or gray, I'd put a green in the middle. And then the top would be a blue. Just to, that would be the sky. So these are doing these a little different than I normally would, but as I said, this is a special order from my niece, and this is what she requested. So some of these might end up being identical, and that'll be all right. She actually said I could make them all be identical, but I said I don't have enough of any one thing to make 50 of any identical things. So we settled on all these odds and end things. There is another one I've been making with a fishing hook at the bottom because he did love to fish. And then I have some fish beads, and so I've been using those in the body of the, my fish beads are blue, so they work great at the bottom of the bead strand. with uh, with the fishing hook as the charm. So that works really cute too. Um, and I have done a couple like that. So then Lisa said she's going to make some like little memoriam cards to go with these, stating, what everything represents. So um, I think it's gonna be really nice. Little guy, stay on your wire. When you're cutting off your ends here, careful you don't grab either your loop or the top of your wire. I've done both before. Um, you grab your loop and it generally just cuts your loop off. If you get up on the wire, sometimes you either cut your wire right off, or what I've had happen before is I wasn't really careful, got hold of the wire up above, and ended up having a really, really sharp little piece hanging off the edge, and not pleasant. So, of course, I changed those because who wants to have a hunk of worry about a sliver of wire grabbing somebody? That would be really nasty. So there's those three. Now, if I wasn't making key rings, we could make earrings out of these because, it's the same starting point. The only difference is instead of putting them on the key ring, we'd put them on at the split ring, we'd put them on ear wires. Anybody have any plans for today? Have you got anything special to make or anything like that? Like this one for me? Or your boobs. Yeah, that's true. I have caught things with my boobs before. Actually, I jokingly call my boobs the shelf because, well, I have relatively large ones, so it catches everything. So, or I should say, the ladies aren't just one, but oh, come on, why don't you want to tuck? There we go. I was going to say, those antlers are becoming problematic there. Okay. Now they all are on their wires. We got to decide which one's getting what. I dropped another one. Boy, girl, you just are dropping stuff right and left today. Well, now that one should have been easily seen because the charm was on it, but it's not. Things are just running away from home today. Oh well. I'll find it later. They're not going anywhere. So we're going to start with the blue, and I'm going to use some navy goldstone on this one. I love navy goldstone. It really looks like the night sky to me. And since we're going to get a couple of our little silver stars. And I think we'll go with the big white star. As you can see, I have two sizes here. And to make it a little different, I'm just going to go with a ball spacer above this, above the star here. And then a red bead. Just grab this one. So there's how they're looking. And I'm just going to bend this over. And it can sit here until I get to the next stage. Oh, that's a cool idea, Cynthia. Giving out magnets with your mom's photographs that she took. That's really cool. You have no plans today, just that would entail having a life. I'm sorry to hear that, Chris. This time I'm going to grab this blue bead. Oh, it's got something inside it. No, it's got a hole. Wow. That's interesting. Well, that bead's going in the trash. So we'll use a different blue bead. Ooh, how about this big one? That's a nice sky picture. Then we'll have a ball spacer. Now, you don't have to even use spacers if you don't want to use spacers. It's just, well, that's me. Have to have a spacer. And what red bead shall we grab? These wires are longer than I need them to be, but I'd rather have them be too long than too short. Too short is a pain to work with. So. No, I don't suppose motel living is optimal. I certainly wouldn't appreciate it too much, I'm sure. I mean, I like going to a hotel every once in a while, but constantly being in one, yeah, I don't think so. So I understand where you're coming from, Chris. I've been trying to make these a little different so that not everything is exactly alike, but I know that by the time I'm done with 50, there's going to be some that are going to be identical, but it's just the way it is. This one has an extra long wire. I have to dump some more of these things out. Well, come on, baby. There you are. So, get a few of these out. Nah, I'm not gonna bother. This is fine. So, Now, since we decided to be a klutz and drop my other two wires, one wire and the one with the charm on it, we're about to where we're going to start the next step here. I'll just find those later. So, next step is to put these guys on. So to do that, we need to get our bell making pliers again. We're going to make the loop up at the top. This time I'm just going to be a regular one size, and I'm going to do the same thing, leaving that gap so that we can slide our ring on. Which, since these are split rings, you don't have to do it that way. You could just do them and leave them as just a regular opening, and or regular loop, and then the split ring could go on them. I think it's easier just to put the smaller split ring on as you're doing the loop. It makes things a little bit faster and easier when it comes right down to it. That way you also don't have to open the smaller split ring. So oops, that one didn't get quite turned enough. There we go. Hey, Carolyn, good you could come. You're homesick, Chris? Yeah, I bet you are. I'm sorry, honey. Okay, I need to go get my other package of little split rings, which is just right across behind me here. So it'll take me a second. Now these split rings have this package has various sizes in it, but I don't think it really makes much difference which size you use of these. They're a little bigger, a little smaller, and the same size kind of thing. So, but these are just simply to put it on the bigger split rings, so it doesn't really matter what size they are. So if that's something that you get one of these packages with varying sizes and you're like, oh, does that size work? Yeah, it works fine. I generally don't use the really tiny ones in this on these. I mean, they would work. They'll go over the split ring, but I just think they're a little too tiny in my opinion. So now we're just going to wrap these babies up like we would normally. And I let the split ring fall out of the loop. We don't want that. Come on, baby, you need to get down in where you belong. And since I got pretty long tails on these, I can wrap them by hand if I want. Sort of depends on my mood and how long a tail my wire has, whether I decide to just wrap them by hand or if I decide I need to get my pliers out to do it with. Okay, you're in the way. Get out of the way. There we go. That slipped some, so we're going to have to fix that one. I don't like that slipped down there. Come on, get under there. Up there. That's better. Oh, come on, you behave. Ah, you've been watching it on the TV. Okay. And if I recall right, when you're on the TV, you can't comment, right? So I understand. Now this one's got a shorter wire, so I probably will grab my other set of pliers to do this one up. And if you have long enough eye pins, you could also just use eye pin to do this the bottom part here, if that's what you wanted to do. because you could put your charm on the eye pin, but I would not, like I said, I would personally not do a simple loop at the top just because um, these a keyring does get a lot of wear and tear on it, and you want to have something that's pretty secure. I really should have put my finger up close to that so it didn't go flying off into space like it just did. Get out of the way, split ring. We don't want to cut you. I cut these and I have little pieces of wire because I put my finger there and it doesn't go flying. Then it sits, then it flies over to me. And I have little hunks of wire all over my t-shirt. Two left. Well, it wouldn't be two left if I hadn't dropped the others, but since I did. And I didn't put my finger on that one either. There we go. Now we got to tuck and put them on. Oh, that's true. The TV here is developmentally changed. That's pretty good, Chris. Well, we stayed at the hotel we stayed at down when we went to the Beltane Festival. My husband, I don't watch much TV, but my husband went and turned the TV on, and it was really loud, and he was like, "Oh wow, I need to get this turned down because, I'm sure that other people in other rooms can hear this as loud as it is." And he tried and tried to get it to turn down, and he could not get it to turn down. He finally just said, "Okay, it's going off because I'll just read my book." I was like, "I can't help you, dear, because I don't know a darn thing about most TVs. I don't watch them very often, so." And nowadays, the TVs just aren't, I mean, back in the day, the TVs were easy to work. Nowadays, they're like, what the heck all is on this thing? I couldn't work it if I tried. So even our own TV, I look at my husband and say, "How do you turn this off?" Because with the cables and stuff, when you have cable TV, you always have special ways of this has to go. You have to push this button, and I'm like, ugh, which button? I don't know which button. So come on, tuck. There we go. Finally. Okay, now we get the big ones. We have to open the big ones up. Hi, Miranda. I'm a TV star. That's good. Can't say I ever really wanted to be a TV star. Two down. Now I do have special pliers for opening split rings, but I don't use them very often because, hey, my thumbnail's nice and strong and it works just as well, sometimes even better to me. Oh, come on, that one didn't stay open long enough to get the other one on. There we go. Oh, and if you don't really want to use regular wire, you could use a beading wire if you wanted to, but then of course you have to crimp top and bottom, which is, then you have to have crimps to do it as well as your beading wire, so sometimes it's just better to use regular. Looks like I need to get one more big split ring. Or putting tin foil on the rabbit ears. Do you remember doing that, Tina? Come on, baby, go on there. There we go. So there we go. We got 10 of them made today. And if I hadn't dropped my wires, we would have got 12 done. But there's the 10. All finished. And it sounds like my hubby's just getting home. So, and there was only 3 or 4 channels to choose from. Yeah, all the local channels. You couldn't get all those ones that are on, like, special channels nowadays. Didn't exist. So now I need to find my other wire that I dropped for my wolf here. And then we need to find the The one I dropped on the ground, what must have been, let's see, there's 3 bears, 2 moose, a deer, a bighorn sheep, bighorn sheep. No, there's another wolf there. Oh, I'm not sure which one it was we dropped. Yeah, the remote was your kids, right? So anyway, we have all these lovely key rings. There is the moose and the bighorn sheep, one of them. And here's the other bighorn sheep and the bear. Deer and another bear. Wolf and another bear. The moose and a feather. So 10 finished. My quota that I told myself I had to do per day was 12, which we would have had if I hadn't dropped my wires. Oh, you haven't been commenting much because you've been busy working while you're listening, Mary? Making more jewelry for the show this weekend? I'm glad you think these are nice key rings. They're really simple, not hard to make. Obviously, don't take a lot of time because we've been on for not quite an hour and 15 minutes. I've got 10 finished. I had another one started, if you'll recall, and then I dropped it. So, and then I dropped the wire for the 12th one. So we would have had 12 if I hadn't dropped things. I'll have to find those and finish getting them made. And we also looked at our, switching over from Halloween to Christmas. Yeah, my Halloween stuff. I don't think I have very much Halloween. I actually sold quite a few Halloween pieces at my Renaissance fair. In fact, I sold one that it was years old, a bracelet that I was sort of surprised went because I had a necklace that matched it, and the necklace sold years ago. Skipping right over Thanksgiving. Well, there's really not many, there's really not a lot of stuff to make for Thanksgiving per se. I do have some charms that are little turkeys and some others that are little pieces of pie, but the little pieces of pie will work for, Christmas too. You eat pie at Christmas. Um, well, actually, I guess the turkeys would work too because you use turkeys for turkey dinner. Um, but yeah, there's not a lot of stuff specifically made for Thanksgiving. Um, I do have some stuff, but most of it, but it's more like fall, like fall leaves, fall, everything fall when it's towards Thanksgiving time. That's what um you love pie every day. So do I, Carolyn. And so there really isn't a lot of Thanksgiving stuff. Now, if I had had this show this weekend, if it hadn't gone kapoots because of the bankruptcy, which, like I said, that chunked me out $150 because we didn't get that back because the company went bankrupt. And um, the way bankruptcy works is they pay with what money they have the ones that are regular contracted people. So because this was a show and it wasn't specifically contracted per se, we would have been the last people paid so we didn't get anything, unfortunately. But so my only other show this year that I have scheduled is my usual artists and craftsmen fair. That's Black Friday weekend. It's a 3-day show. um, and that is the one I do have to make some more snowflakes for. I did get 3 made earlier in the last week. If you'll recall, we made 3 snowflakes. I'll probably have to make some more snowflakes. I have one customer that comes and buys 1 snowflake every year, at least one. So, so I will need to make some of those. I'll probably make a few icicles later on in the week or next week. just to get ready for that show per se. But first things off, my key rings. So I'm going to go. I hope you guys all had a lovely time with me making all these wonderful key rings, and uh, and I hope that hey, you try making some. They're real simple, and there's like I said, you just want to be make sure your things are sturdy because you are going to it. This is going to be going in and out of pockets or purses, things like that, and And so that is one thing you need to think about if you're making these. So you want to have sturdy components. So anyway, I'm going to go. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.